Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jai, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In today's edition, we're going to be discussing Liberian youth in politics. What is their motivation? What are the triggers? What get them going? What are their activities in politics? And what has been the impact? What can the youth do so that we can have a better and vibrant country? I want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. We have our guests, all young people joining us from the city of Monrovia. We have, starting on my far left, Mr. Alexander Swen. Alex, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
It's a pleasure being here again. I must appreciate the FOL family for giving me the opportunity to be here. This is my third time appearing. So I would like to say thank you for the time, and I hope we have a great day.
Thank you. Joining us for the first time is the founder of the Initiative for Youth Empowerment and Economic Development, Ms. Vicky June Woto. Vicky, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Hats up to everyone who have tuned in to follow this show. Happy to be here. Let's have a very productive conversation so that people listening can learn from us as we also learn from them.
Thank you, Vic June. We also have joining us from Monrovia, women rights activist, Bevina William Brooks. Bevina, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the invite. Well, all I wish for is to have a fruitful and wonderful time here. And then I encourage our listeners to please listen well. And then let's educate each other. Thank you.
Last but not the least, and joining us also for the first time is a member of the Student Vanguard Movement in Revolution. He's also the Secretary of the Borough of Nukritown, Mr. Sene O. Bata II. Sene, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. I'm not, look forward to having a interactive discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the video quality there was a little poor, but we want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. Every time we hear about the young people, so we have the young people here today. Please, we're going to be opening our phone lines very soon so that you can interact with them to see what their motivations are in Liberian politics. But before we start, I just want to give a brief overview. And listen to me, I have to write this down so I'll say it correctly the way I want. With 200 million people aged between 15 and 24, that's the youth bracket, Africa has the youngest population in the world. The African Development Bank estimates that Africa's youth population is rapidly growing and expected to double to over 800 million by 2050. That's from the African Development Bank. In Liberia, more than 60% of the population is under the age of 25. Youth unemployment in Liberia is as high as 85%, according to the UN data. With the exception of those under age 15, almost all children and youth in Liberia were traumatized in one way or the other by the 14-year civil war. Our youth are Africa's greatest access. But today, the majority of young people in Africa do not have stable economic opportunities. Millions are unemployed, illiterate, and food insecure. On March 19, 2009, the Secretary General Special Representative in Liberia at the time, Ellen Margaret Lodge, stated before a UN meeting in New York that, and I quote, massive youth unemployment and current job layoffs constitute a real security concern, and the problem is likely to increase if some of the anticipated foreign investment in Liberia has now feared will be delayed or scaled down due to the international economic crisis. Without regular and stable jobs, more Liberians, especially the young generation, could be tempted by the easy money associated with illegal economic activities or potentially by those wanting to recruit them for subversive activities once again. This was a quote in allafrica.com on March, which was published on March 19, 2009. Many young people see themselves as the lost generation, divorced from the powerful hierarchy that are making laws that negatively affect them. Yet, many of them are challenging the norms and structures that exclude them by engaging with the state and demanding transparency and accountability. The young people on this broadcast today are in the latter group, challenging the norms, igniting transparency triggers, and demanding their place in the socio-political arena of Liberia. Join us, ladies and gentlemen, as we discuss the way forward for Africa and Liberia's youth. Once again, I want to say welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast. We are so excited to have you. Let's start by saying, just briefly, let's start with you, Belvina, just something brief about yourself, 30 seconds.
Well, my name is Belvina Udino Brooks. My full name, a student of the African Methodist Episcopal University, junior student. I'm 22 years of age. I live Caldwell. I used to live in Newtown, but due to some reasons, I moved a few months ago, and now I still Caldwell with my sister.
Thank you.
So
I'm hearing an audio in the background. Someone please tune down your audio there. Go ahead, Belvina.
So there's young people business or young people in politics. I started this a long time ago while growing up in the United Methodist Church, because for my church, we are a group of people who try to educate young people, because young people are the future generation. So the church main focus is to educate young people so that they can be able to be tomorrow or be a better leader. So that's how it all started. And yeah, I am today. I'm proud of who I am. And I'm also happy to say yes. What I learned from my church and what I learned from my school, I'm able to speak to the public. I'm able to discuss issues that so many people thought I wouldn't have been able to do, especially growing up in the town and other things. So I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to Sene. Sene, a little bit about yourself. You have 1 minute.
Every now
Thank you very much.
because for my
Thank you for the
church,
time.
we are a group of people.
Excuse me, let me just inject this. I think we're having issues tonight. It's not really good. People trying to record what they're saying. I don't get it. The show is really distorted.
Me, I don't know why, but I don't know.
Yeah, someone.
I don't understand.
If you are playing the show in the back, please turn it off.
So can I make a suggestion? Hello. This evening. Oh. Wow.
Go ahead, Sene. Briefly about yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm Sine Obabekon, former standard bearer of the Progression of Life for Student Success, past Vision 2016 class, and former Secretary General Federal Bachelor Investigation 2018 to 2020, current Secretary General of the Balanced Community, and current Secretary General of the Federation of All Youth. Senior student of the University of Liberia, reading economics or emphasis accounting.
Thank you. Let me go to Vic June Water. Vic June, little about yourself, 1 minute.
Every time I'm asked to do a little introduction, I don't even know where to start, whether I should do it academically or maybe professionally or just, so I just like to say I'm Vic June. So far, so good.
Thank you. Alex?
Yeah, thank you for the time. I'm Alexander Swain, student of the AMD Zion University Benson Street and resident of the Republic of Yucatan, as I usually call it. And a young man who strive to impact other people's lives through so many ways. And I'm glad that we're having this kind of discussion about young people. I'm looking forward to learning from my colleagues and the audience. I'm a senior student, graduating senior, reading economics and public administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Let's get into it tonight. We see on the news every time, or the statistics, as I read earlier, big statistic for youth, the youth population. Every time there is voting, we see the youth, they in politics, they are doing all kinds of things. They are activists and they are very much engaged. Let me start by asking, what do young people in Liberia want? You go first, Vic June.
Oh, okay. What I think is the Liberian young people want everything that is good, like every other young person in any developed country. They want peace, they want stability, they want the platform for them to utilize every potential that they have. So the Liberian young people who lack no talent, no potential to improve their country by getting support from authorities, maybe both governmental, social, civil society aspect like that. So where I sit and how I have gone through the youth service in the space, even at the national level, I think and I can conclude that the Liberian young people just want what's best for them. It is not as if they don't know what they want. So I think the question is placed like maybe the Liberian young people have been putting out a picture like they don't know what they want. So I want to disabuse that. The Liberian young people know what they want. They are just having challenges to get them to achieve what they want. So those challenges, like I stated, probably, I shouldn't say probably, those challenges actually are the prevailing realities. There's the age struggle.
And we'll come to the challenges.
Yeah, okay, just wait, let me just complete, please. I just want, in a nutshell, to say here today that whatever that has been passing around, the young people don't know what they want, so and so, and blah, blah, blah. The Liberian young people know what they want. They actually do.
Good. Shene, what do the young people want, in your view?
Okay, thank you. And there are multiple of things that the young people want. And starting with, having the platform to express their view freely, creating, let's say, the social political balance in government and the opportunity to be represented at the level of national government. Because a few times back, they tried to establish the children parliament, wherein young people are given the opportunity to freely express themselves. So we as young people, we have get involved with political struggles these days because we see it as one of the means to which our voices can be heard. Because now the society has gravitated from level to a current political level that to be heard, you have to, one way or another, undertake a political venture. And we applaud those that are in the social society group, like my sister Big Jones. But now, those that are in politics, they have more voices than those that are out of politics. So the young people have seen this as a means of getting our voices across, that we are the future generation, and there is a need we start to shape the future, because we are the ones that will emerge into the future. So we have to tell how we want the future to be. So these are a few things that young people have wanted. And as we go forward, we provide more information on some of the wants of the young people.
Bevina, and the same question, but on top of that, how is that different from young people in other countries? For instance, what young people want in Liberia, is it different from what young people everywhere else want? What is it they want, and how is that different from other areas? You are on mute, Bevina. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Young people in Liberia, like every other person, we want the best things to happen for us. But the problem is how. How do those things happen? How can we get there? The opportunity is not given to us as young people to do those things. When a young person wants to lead or wants to get in politics, the first thing you will hear is, oh, you too young to do this. Oh, you too young to do this. The older people, I feel within my mind, the older people have been stopping us for doing what we are ought to do or what we want to do for a very long time. Because if you check, I think in my mind, or for fact, you should be between the ages of 14 to 24. But in our country, you find youth like 45, 50 years old people still trying to be youth. So I think because of that, we have been pushed on the side, we have been stopped from getting to where we want to go. And another thing is, we also limit ourselves. We feel that, oh yes, we cannot go certain places. Oh yes, we want to go there, but the fact that we limit ourselves, we limit our thoughts, we feel like, oh yes, without this person, we cannot get to where we want to go. Without this person, we cannot do what we want to do. We depend on people mostly for all of the things that we want. If we as young people, we work together, we stand on our own, we say, oh yes, this is what we are going to do. This is what we want to do. And we work together to achieve those things. It will be easier for us to make Liberia the way we want it. Even though there may be challenges, but once we work together and support each other in that manner, we will get to where we are out of. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alex, you heard your colleagues about what young people want. Are young people being heard, or are they not screaming loud enough to be heard?
Let me say thank you to my colleagues for sharing our views. But I learned one thing from the three of them. All of them spoke about the platform, and definitely we need a platform to showcase what we have stored within us. We, the young people across Africa, not only Liberia one, need a platform that will be created to help us explore our skills, our knowledge, and put our hands to work. If you look across Africa, our neighboring brothers are yearning for the same platform that we all are yearning for in Liberia. If we find out that in Liberia, like senior put it, everybody want to do politics because this is the only way you can be here. It's because those that are above us have set that stage that the only way to be here will be in society, you got to go from the political side. And I'm saying, no, we have different tasks to compete. If 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 I have the opportunity to play football in Liberia, I'm a young man. Let that facility be provided, let that education be provided, that I will play football and go to school. If I have the opportunity to go do vocational education, let that opportunity be provided, that after doing that, I can go into a manufacturing company, like the mechanical sector, and help develop my idea. So the moment we start thinking about driving our mind from politics and creating things, we'll be able to get what we want as a country. But this thing is not available because those that set the stage set it along the way of politics. So across Africa, we the young people, we don't have that platform to explore our skills. And we are only shown the road to politics that lead to corruption. So for that extent, we the young people, we are not given that opportunity We have not given that platform. So we are struggling to get that platform. Once we get that platform, we'll be able to explore our skills. So in conclusion, we are suffering from the platform.
And Vic, June, all three of you talk about platform. What is the channel currently young people in Liberia are using to tell everybody what they want?
I can start.
Well, I don't want to be so specific with the protest thing, because if you look at it, young people plights only get attention when they get in the streets. And I don't want it to seem like it is the only way the young people express themselves. Many a time, people do communications. I have been part of such processes where you write, take your time, do a letter, you are requesting a meeting, or maybe you heard of a meeting that is concerning your development, your empowerment, or that is concerning a decision that is supposed to be made in your interest, and you want to be part of it, but then you're denied. So I started off with the protest because you talked about what means Liberian young people express themselves. So the protest is not the only means. We only reach to that level because for now, that's the only thing that gets attention from authorities. If young people write letters asking for meetings or expressing, like doing project proposals and stuff, those things don't get attention till they get in the streets. So the last result we use is the protest, but it is not the only means that we have. So why I think it gets so sporadic is that, like I said previously, when we go civil, maybe in a more unique way to say, oh, I'm here to do one of two things, I think we can work together, or I have a plight, I need you to hear it or pay attention. They don't. So when every one of us on now talked about the platform, I think it all boils down to that, because people who are in authority, like, okay, the young people want the platform, they already have identified a solution to a problem that is affecting them. And then they walk up to the requisite authority to say, okay, I think I have a solution to this and we can do this. And you see them acting like it is of no use. So the minute the young people get tired of running up and down here and there, like, personally, I have an experience and I'm going to share it here. I think I said it some time ago. In my position as Vice for International Affairs at LINSU, I had a straight jacket playing what I wanted to do. The young people, like Liberians all around, internationally, that are going to school, are all professional people. And in every aspect, they should come back to give back to society. So recognizing that, I was shooting for us to have a unique channel where we have record of all of our professional people out there, instead of looking for a pathologist from another country. I'm sure if we had gone through that channel, we will know who is a Liberian who has a profession in autopsy. So fast forward, I did a communication to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Not once, not twice, not thrice. Almost every time I went there to do a follow-up, somebody would say, oh, but when you brought a letter, who you gave it to? Okay, go come back. I leave going up and down. If I never have fun by it, I'll go to a group of people in this country. And it's not as if it is not important though. Emails, everything. So imagine if I had gone out to say, okay, because I've been doing follow-ups and people not paying attention, I'm going to go protest. Somebody was going to sit in their corner and say the only way my brain young people can channel their grievances is through protest. It is not only through protest. It's just that we do that because to the point of getting tired of being looked down upon, somebody would just want to get in the street.
Right.
So, like again, with the first question you asked, I'm also disabusing the minds of the people out there concerning Liberian young people that they only find solution through protest. No, we follow different channels, and we only get to the ground of protest when we are tired. So yes, we have other means.
Thank you. And let me come to you, Sene, before I go to Bevina, because you are at the University of Liberia, and the students there are very much active when it comes to protest. So the same question, protest is the last resort. Do you agree? Or you have other means of having your grievances addressed, or for you to be heard? You've been using a lot of protest.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I appreciate Vic Jones for the words. Now, protest has become our last resort. Now, the authorities have refused to honor, let's say, peaceful communications. Now, when I enrolled at the university in 2017, we had the challenge of late registration. Now, because of the economic situation created by the power by then, we could not pay our tuitions and fees on time. So the president, official in their weeks, authorized the guys from EDP, which is electronic data processing, to put stop to registration complete. And the student unification party, through her then chairman, Butu Liva, did a communication to her office, pleading on the students' behalf that there's a need for registration to be reopened, looking at the strangulated economic situation. But she did not get heed to it. She did not listen. And fast forward the road communications to the office of the president, the office of the board of trustees, and no one cared to listen. So it was on a Friday morning when we gathered ourselves at the grounds of the Foreign Affairs, where we burned tires and we burned trees on the road. And with that, we got the attention we needed.
Wow.
So like I told you, we do these things to stimulate the system so as to get our desired result. So when we burnt the tire on the grounds of the, let's say, Foreign Affairs, the current speaker, Dr. Bofotima, and the current police director, Patrick Suru, Mr. Steve Zago, they all came on the scene and asked, what are the problems? And we explained. From there, they immediately called the then president of Peter Neil Weeks to a dialogue. And with that, the issues were resolved. Registration always open. So now a registration will be reopened when we have protested and stimulating the system. There are bigger guys coming on board to understand what happened. And I think protest is one of the best means we found to express ourselves in Liberia. Like in recent time, the issue of rape skyrocketed in Liberia. Now it was all on the news. People could not get hit. But when our counterparts, when our colleagues took the streets, and the president was compelled, he was coerced to have passed a law making, let's say, rape a state emergency. So our administrators, our authorities have, let's say, accepted protest as our only means of resort.
Thank you. Bevina, do you agree?
Well, protest may not be the only way forward, but for the fact that we are living in a country where the system is not working for the people, like I told you last night, that we don't have a system. We have something called the enrichment, because if it's a system, it should be working in the interest of the people, or it should be effective, but it's not working. So over the past time, that's why we have seen people protesting here and there, and it has given us so many results. There were so many things that happened from protests, people listening to it. So the fact that our leaders are not willing to listen to us in a peaceful way, through communication, written communication, over communication, and other things, since they don't want to listen to us in those manner, I think they prefer protests where they will see people coming up in the street, they stepping, causing traffic, causing chaos. That's why they want. So that's why they will get. because if you are a leader or if you are a government, you should be working on listening to your people because they are the reason why you are in the position that you are in today. So when you can listen to them in a very peaceful way, then that's where protest comes in. And most of the time, protest can give you fruitful result than the one you just said now in red paper. Like what Beju just said, she told us that yes, she did communication over 3, 4, 5 times, and nobody listened. So if she was going to protest, or going to say, yeah, I bring you, they less busy, they don't have work to do. For some people, once they are not in your shoes or they don't know what's going on or what's killing you, they will say it in the back and try to criticize.
Yeah.
Most of the protests that go on, people are doing it in the interest of every Liberian. But because some of us, we are from a different political party or we are from a different religious group or something, we feel that, oh, yes, this is bad because this person is doing it, because this other person is influencing it, and so on and so forth. But I think the protest for our country is very, very much necessary.
Hmm. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing with some young people in Liberia, currently in Liberia, uh, about the involvement of youth in politics. Alex, what are the challenges young people face in Liberia?
There are so many challenges ranging from birth to reaching your full potential. Because I listen to my colleagues, it kind of disheartening to know that we have reached a level in the country wherein before we have a result, we will protest. And I say no to that. If we have a system that is built for us, we should use that system. We should understand the chain of command. We should understand the coordination, and we should understand the way we go about doing things. Like for instance, I did a communication requesting an office to carry on a project, ask for the project manager, give that information to the project manager. You work about 4 to 5 times before you even see the project manager. The first thing the SG for that office will hold a letter. And when you go there for the first time, you tell you, oh my boss, I've not come here, your in-social meeting. And one of the things we are facing in Liberia is that we don't take responsibility. If Mr. Ja is my boss and he's supposed to read a letter that has to do with the office and he's kind of busy, we don't use our second thought to ask, oh boss, you have so many letters on your desk and you're kind of busy, and saying that is the case, I think that has to do with our office and we've got to look into it. Can you spare some of your time or can I process in for you? If we start taking responsibility as a people, then we'll be having a fruitful result. But once it's not about them, all they do is they throw a letter in one corner or in one trash can and go about our business. So I'm saying we don't have a system. If we have a system, then we'll have a positive result. Like for the challenges we have in Liberia, it's very, I don't know how to name them, but it's kind of difficult because we are living in a society where before you reach a certain level, there will always be a heated debate between you and the society in terms of achieving your goal, because not too many people in our society understand what it takes to struggle to reach to your full potential. So some of them has become very weak about moving about. Some of them have become very, radical in doing things. So if you want to do the real thing in Liberia, you'll find out that you meet a lot of bridges ahead of you that you're supposed to cross in our content, a lot of storming block. So we're facing a lot of challenges as a young people, more especially to reaching our full potential, because we don't have the financial resources, one, we don't have the able environment to help us, and we don't have the kind of mindset that we can click in getting what we want. If you have an idea and you call upon one or two fellow young men to say, oh, can we start on this? gradually we can grow to become what we want to become. The first thing I'll come in our memoir, and I here to face Liberia, my man, the first thing I'm tired. I don't have time. I either go do something different, you know. So we as a young people have our own problem. The system has their own problem. And before we face the system, we got to face ourselves as young people. So the challenges that we having or that we are facing start with us. So we got to put ourselves in a position to coordinate, cooperate, and see where we want to go and what we want to see happening. So the challenges start with us, and we will first develop our mind, our thinking towards society, and our action in implementing what we want to do. So I would likely say that the environment is not suitable for us to achieve our goal, but yes, we are channeling our way through because we believe that we have so many young people like our colleagues on now that understand what it takes to move a nation for one.
So, Sene, we know the challenges are multiple, and everywhere in the world we have challenges. But who or what do you hold responsible for those challenges?
Now, thank you very much. Now, the system that has been controlled by the government is responsible for the many challenges we face. Now, because we that have studied government, a government is a management system that has been elected to see the welfare of our people. So now, if there are multiple challenges, it is the government's business to ensure that those challenges are mitigated or are resolved. Now, like Pato said and Vic said, Belvina said, we don't have a system, the system will have the arrangement. However, now because a system should be effective. Now, in the absence of effectiveness, we can have force ahead. So now we could blame ourselves, but now we have limited resources. So now with the level of resources the national government has, she should make amendment for these things. The national government is responsible. Like for youth challenges, there are people that play football, but the environment has not been created. The spirit of intellectualism, the spirit of academic challenge is dying in the country. There are people that still play academic challenge. And who do you blame? Government is not creating that enabling environment for us to explore our full potential. Like they said, all we need is the opportunity to explore our full potential. The government has denied all of that, let's say, immunity. And they have created the platform where we can only do these things when we are politically involved. So national government is responsible, and she needs to step up her game to ensure that she have partners, she have donors that will come and invest in youth index building and youth capacity building.
Thank you. Vic June, those challenges are many. How do we overcome them, especially from a young person perspective?
I listened previously to all of the speakers, and the last guy, I think his name is Sine. He spoke very well, and he talked about the government. So I just want to highlight that it is true, it is the government. But then again, if you look at who is the government, it boils down to the individuals that make up of the government. So I personally share my experience where our data communication for a project proposal that is definitely going to benefit the Liberian people at a very larger scale. And if really implemented to the full weight, could be something that was going to really, really break. But the person responsible to implement that was not the president. It was a ministry that could have done it and present to the president, say, I did this for the Liberian people in my capacity as you have asked me to work with you. So you walk up to, let's say, a revenue generating entity for government. You're supposed to sign up or register for a piece of paper. Take, for instance, the LEC. Majority of the power theft stories going on around here are people within the system. Somebody might tell you, do you have proof? I may not show you proof physically, but we all can attest that somebody somewhere within the system is making extra money, depriving government of revenue because of self-interest. So if you start to say the system that should work for everybody is government, you have families who are employed into government. I have friends. What is stopping them from doing their jobs when they take paycheck at the end of the month on the Liberian people taxes? They just don't care. So the only place for me, I think the president overall comes in, or you say, oh yes, so is the monitoring aspect. And the same monitoring aspect comes from somebody who is the head of that particular entity, who also is an individual. What is stopping he or she from performing their job? I'm having a serious difficulty with one of the government institutions quite recently, where I'm supposed to get certain document. For the past 3 weeks, I've been running up and down. When I call the person, oh, I forget, let me call you back. When they see me at the time, oh, I will just go into the office that you're talking me, I'm going to go look for. I'm telling you, it's frustrating. But people who have relatives that work in government, they feel so relaxed because every damn thing, somebody will yell one day and say, oh, the president this, the president that. I want to say here today, this is in no way trying to defend something. Maybe people, you all know me in the government, all right, we can't get along. But where the truth is, you put it there. If you have your family working in government, start to tell them in their ears that the system that needs to be fixed, it starts with them. They're the screwdriver, they're the nail, they're the plank, and everything that we need to put together to make the system work. Everybody needs to get their hands on their. It is not so. We need to stop. Somebody was calling me.
Yeah, go ahead. End your thought.
Yeah, so I'm just saying in a nutshell that it's true. The system is not working for everybody because certain group of people who are in charge to make the system work feel it is not their responsibility. They only go there with a don't care attitude. Okay, I'm only here to get my salary at the end of the month, and whether somebody get their work done or not is none of my business. And those very people that do those things, they are our relatives, they are our friends. So now let us try to reduce whatever pressure we're putting maybe on legislature or the executive branch of government. Let's start to deal with them individually. If you know, if 4 or 5 persons supposed to get something done and they're not getting it done, everybody just struggling. Therefore, instead of going to protest to the executive mansion, you all go protest at a broad business registry, you all go stand in front and protest. If the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you all go in front and protest, so the person know that they are not living up to the task of the Liberian people. But every small thing, we jump to different areas. So I think we have to change the strategy in addressing these issues. Everything cannot be one person. Let me say this with an example. Quite recently, we saw a Chipumpon story. Everybody started saying, oh, the president can pay the people, so, blah, blah, blah. We call up factors constant that civil service have not taken pay on time. But what gives the Chief Justice the freaking right to issue a writ of arrest on somebody who is protesting for his delayed salary? He acted as an individual, and some of us called for his resignation. But now, everybody in Liberia acting there because now their relative, set himself ablaze. So it is not, in fact, they started mocking at Chipumpon. Whereas it is everybody's business. But now we should not have Chief Justice Francis Kwakwa or Wakama Bang is as Chief Justice. But I bring people sit down here, it happened. They're sitting down, everybody acting like it's none of their business. But then when they're ready, they say that first assistant, oh, that job, yeah. What that Madam said, or every other judge, any other president that come, they will do the same thing and say, oh, that the president, no. Start to deal with the individuals who are harming the system because you don't want to point out your friend, your relative, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your grandma, your grandpa. So you think everything when you shout, say, oh, the president or the vice president, it means you have spoken. No, take action. I am calling on everybody. We all need to start telling Chief Justice Kwakwa to step down. He needs to resign. It starts from there. It's not one person business. So the system that we are talking about that should work, it should start with everybody hands on deck. The same way we can be partial sometimes when they rape me. Somebody will be talking, all of a sudden they rape advocate. Soon their relative rape or their friend rape. They start to now judge the victim, what thing she was wearing, what thing care her there, and all of that.
Thank you.
So you see, it's a two-way stream. I do agree the system needs to be fixed, but it starts with every one of us, and we need to start pointing fingers now. Even if that person is our friend, we need to start pointing fingers.
Thank you. Bevina, your comments were talking about who or what is responsible for those challenges and how we can resolve them.
Well, it starts with us. We as Liberians, we as young people, it all start with us. If we want to see something going, or if we want to see the right things happening, like I said, let's work together. Let's start check marking some of those issues. Let's start talking about them. Instead of us jumping from here to there, let's start helping to face those issues. We all know, yes, the government is not working in the interest of everybody. Yes, the government is not doing this. But the only way they are going to do those things is when we as Liberians start to tell them like, oh yes, you need to do it. Not just few handful of people saying it and then we don't get the support of others. So it's not about me, it's not about Pato coming up and saying, oh yes, we need to change this, we need to change that. Once we don't have the support of all Liberians or all young people, it's not going to work.
Thank
It
you.
all starts with us.
Thank you. Let's come to, we're going to open our phone line. Someone was asking, this is focused on Liberia. We are discussing with young people in Liberia. I don't know if it is safe to assume that all of you have some political leanings or if you have political affiliation or not. But my question to you, and let me start with Alex, what moved young people to join join politics and or political parties? What is moving them to do so?
There are several issues.
Okay, I know you're probably sick of me talking.
Can I go on now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said there are several issues ranging from personal aggrandizement to policy-driven ideas. Like for our contemporary politics, with the 21st century politicians, we are driven by individual conviction and because we have some linkage or we have some attachment to an individual who we see as a big brother or as a recognized or prominent person within our community or within our church or within any organization, we become to link with them and try to share their view with ours instead of us, counter reacting to get a better result. Like for in Liberia, I can simply tell you that one can join politics because of their personal attachment to a person. But from my experience, I had a whole lot with sedition 2005. At that time, I was at the age of 13. And I was the only person that was supporting Madam Serif. Quite intensely to know that my hustle allowed me to do that, and up to now I'm doing so because I have my siblings. One of them is working at the Ministry of Commerce as a director, and she's a physician, and I'm from the other angle, and we share our view differently. I don't go along with her, but when it comes to national issue, we all share it. If you have some disagreement, we have things, they are running things. But many of the youth back home now, to have that independent mind to make that decision is very tough. Because if somebody is the breadwinner of the family, say we're going this way, and that go that way, they cut you off. So it's kind of scary that people jump political party or support an individual based on their personal attachment or personal interest. But it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to form a political movement based on the policy, based on the or based on the association or based on their value.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Hold on,
I
Alex.
cannot
I see
join a
there's
political
noise from someone background.
party because I know Bevina to be my church sister, and when that party win, she will get job, I'll get job. No, I'm gonna be able to join a political party that will tell me that in the short term we'll be focusing on primary education. In a long run, we'll be focusing on expanding to other legislative program. These are policy-driven issues. Should be the one carrying me to a political party. When I started supporting Ellen 2016, when she left the race, I decided to go along with the Liberty Party because of the policy that was created within that party. The respect of rule of law and the environment to reconcile and rebuild Liberia. This policy gave me the authority to pledge my support to them. And with that, I believe that I have something on book that when this party take over, we'll be able to respect the rule of law that will govern us, that will make us to do things in a rightful way.
Senna, please mute your line, Senna.
We'll be able to rebuild Liberia through human capacity building or through agriculture. So if you have a policy that will carry to a political party, it will be right there having that personal engagement or that personal interest. So
thank you, Alex.
Join political party because of personal interest. It's not about the policy any longer.
Thank you. And I will quickly go around the room so that you can share your experience on as to why the young people join politics or political party. What is their motivation? What drive them? Let's be brief. 1 minute. Let me go to you, Sine.
Okay, thank you very much. And like you said, be brief. So I will just catalog 2 points. One is the appetite to amass sudden wealth at the detriment of the ordinary people. That's one. And two, they move towards politics because of the constraint created by the social political system. Now, with the first one that has to do with amassing wealth at the detriment of the Liberian people. Now, do you care or have you thought of why some of our young colleagues did not ask for foreign scholarship, but they asked for a job? We agree you struggle to advance yourself, but we are asking for the platform we created that we can acquire better education. But you ask for a job to work at the Ministry of Agriculture, you ask for a job to work at the MCC as young people. And this is because you want to amass wealth. And the amassing of wealth, most of the time, is at the detriment of Liberian people. Because there are topics about corruption around the country, and there are only a few ministries and agencies that are free. So now the mayor could not ask for a foreign study because he wants to work and earn something. So he supported CDC for like say 10 years, but he believes that one day when CDC wins, he will be given a work to do. So he was moved to join the CDC because he believed that one day they will win and he will have his own share of the national cake.
Thank you.
Did he ask why Avin Wizard did not ask for a foreign scholarship? You have to ask that. He joined the CDC because he sought the prospect, the possibility of CDC winning the elections. So now with CDC winning the election, I could be appointed as one of the ministers. And he was appointed. And now if I were the minister, does mean at my age, I would have gone out to get foreign studies. That upon my return, I can better contribute to my country that we all thought they want to do. Because we all complain that we want a platform, we want to be heard, we want to make our contribution to national development. In the absence of acquiring quality education, you cannot make any meaningful contribution. So that's one.
Let me go to Bevina for your thoughts on why you think young people are so enthusiastic. They're joining politics and political parties in their numbers.
For
Bevina,
me, it's because of what they can get, how much they can get, who they can get along with, and so many other things. For us young people these days, we just follow the crowd. Maybe we see somebody on the side, I want to say we join them. We see, maybe I see Pato in a political party because they can be chanting Pato crowd, they be behind the other minister, they be riding somebody car today or tomorrow. So I want to join them. And once I join that party, and then those things that I want, I'm not getting it, I will jump to another one. So it's mostly based on self-interest, which is selfish. It shouldn't always be about you and you. It should be about the Liberian people or the people within your community, those people that are around you who are struggling to make life for themselves. So if you joining a political party, it should be based on their policy, based on what they can do, based on their prospects, what they want to do for your country. That
okay.
should be the reason. But for us, we just do it because we want to get something for ourselves. And once we cannot get it, we leave and go and join another political party. That's why you see today there are so many young people jumping all around. Somebody can join 4, 5 political parties in less than 2, 3 years because what they were expecting here they didn't get it. So they want to try the other side. So that's my take on it.
Thank you. Victor, if you agree with the previous three speakers that the young people are jumping from these parties to the other for selfish reasons, will you then say it is the system that is making them to do things that way, or are young people themselves the problem?
I think they all spoke well, but the roots for me is what I look at. Even if you're sick, no doctor prescribes medication for you without diagnosing your kids. So I'll be very honest with you, like I owe all of my opinions to my conscience. I don't care what somebody think because I'm entitled to it. Like I think Alexander spoke, people should be affiliating with parties because of their convictions and all of that. So I agree with him, sometimes peer pressure. But if you look at our society, like how Liberia is actually structured, almost all of the people you can point at to say this is a money man, this is a prominent person, this is an influential person, those people you point at are politicians. So, quote unquote, Liberia is a political society. So, every young person coming out today feels that the only way they can be successful is to get into politics. And that is the foundation, the root cause. So, going to maybe the roofing level, those very people that is see who kind of like inspire them to get into politics or motivate them to get into politics, those people have record issues, integrity issues, they corrupt, they steal from the Liberian people and justify it because they have the connections to conceal whatever damage they have caused. They do a lot of things and think that it's okay. They themselves will jump from place to place. So the young people that see them as, okay, the only way somebody can be successful in Liberia is to join politics, or the only way somebody can get known, quote unquote, is to join politics. They're following those higher ups, and those higher ups who are jumping from place to place. So the young people too are jumping from place to place. And those higher ups that they are following are also people who control their bellies. So with all of this, it takes a handful of young people to say enough is enough. I cannot be controlled. Enough is enough. I have my independent thoughts, and I think I should do this on my own. I think I deserve to make my own decision. You see me? I am not joining national politics till probably I'm 40 years. That's because I have recognized that I owe every opinion to my conscience. If I have an opinion to say today, whether it's in your favor or not, it's none of my business. So nobody come and tell me, say, oh, you're supposed to do this. I will be honest here in any day, in any moment, that I, Victor Excel Wuto, will support government. Any government that comes in power, I will support simply because I believe in democracy, and which has to do with the majority of the people's views being respected through the ballot box. So even if whoever that wins election or emerge as president or senator or representative, and that person was not my candidate, the fact that the majority of the people voted, that particular person will have my support. But if they do, if that particular person goes wrong, I will say it. If that particular person says, does something good, I will say it. So because I don't want anybody controlling me with all the party remains supreme, all the party mandate, all the person coming from my party, or blah, 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 I will remain an independent person till maybe I'm 40, 38, 35, like I am. I say, okay, maybe I'm ready for national politics. But until then, I will remain a politician. You know, politics is a social science. You don't have to get in elected position to be a politician. No. You can be a politician in the private sector, in the NGO sector, civil society, or wherever. So I will remain who I am until I can see the need for me to join. Because any political party right now I join, somebody will come tell me, say, oh, party mandate. And when that party mandate is against my conscience, I will not go. And I don't want to be seen as the way they can pull a party defiant or whatever. So I will support government. And I saw it with Lisu. When I started having issues, things that were not pleasant to my conscience, and while I was there, I was not implementing. Oh, eventually you're not disciplined, you're not institutional discipline. Like the people they used to speak to me, but they were not saying the things that were not disciplined enough for them to do. Like me who were talking, they were saying, me, I didn't get their time. But honestly, between you and myself, and to my conscience, like I said, I am not going to join politics. The young people you see passing around, people when I get it to eat, and those very older people that they follow are the people who control them. So you find it very hard for them to be independent in their thoughts. And some of the things they even come on the social media to defend are things that are even against them. But what to do? We just look at them like, look at this other one. So I mean, we have a political society that is built on that. And the only way we can leave that is to be independent enough. I see people talking about, oh, not too young to lead. Last time I had my own view about it. My view is, if you're not too young to lead, please be independent enough that if you're challenging somebody who is old enough that you want to replace, you will not be needing their dime for your rally or your campaign. That was my only point. Oh, people talking, oh, Virgin can be fighting her generation. She can support her friend. It's not as if I can support my friends. Well, you know the truth hurts. How can Virgin right now get us say she won't be senator? Who can me run my campaign? Who can me sponsor my campaign? And on the very big people why I say I'm going against. You're not being honest now.
Thank you.
So we have to be very honest enough and say, if you want to reach to a point of challenging the status quo, it is not easy, but you have to be prepared. You have to be independent. We have different means of getting money. People can do different businesses to reduce the dependency syndrome. But all they do is depend on these very people that they are putting off on every day to say, oh, you're not doing this, they're not doing that. You finish now, you go sit down, the person get you fired, your whole mouth closed. So we need to start looking at our independence, yes, as young people, before we can start to challenge the status quo. But until then, all of the ones that they are controlling, we will just see them jumping from party to party, my sister. We'll see them jumping from party to party, my brother, because the people they're following are the people that can get in their air transportation. And you and myself, we reach the level to start feeding people here. So let them just be jumping, at least they're showing us who they are.
And let's conclude on that question. Let me go back to you, Alex. What Vicky is saying, you are holding the young people responsible. Vicky is saying, monkey see, monkey do. So the older people, that's the system they created. That's the example they set, and that's what the young people are following. Your thoughts? Pevina, let me hear your thoughts. It's like Alex is...
How many, please?
Alex, you think that you will come watch on the show? Well, you
Big.
not even know that this is a global platform. Well, let me
Alex.
hit you first. Since we started this show, you just been doing all kind of yama. You made me bored. I almost left the show before we started. You want to change your shirt. You want to do that one.
Hold on now, Big June.
This is a no. Let me just hit how you call him, Alex, before he answer my question.
No, but Big.
Hold on.
Big a local court is stepping the land.
So put it on to not disturb.
All right.
That was the agreement.
Let me go to Sine.
Yeah, please go to Sine. Yeah.
I'm available, Big. Please don't do that to me. I'm
you
using
can't
your
bluff me after I won't
Go ahead, Sine. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our phone lines now open. You can call in. Desmond, I saw you were on. Please call back. And the question now is it a young people problem or the older people that are setting bad example for the youth? And that's why we see that most young people are getting into politics just for their own personal gains, because they want to see their older people, the uncles, the fathers, and the big brothers doing.
I can start, Mr. John?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I stated earlier, that we don't have a system. I can remember growing up, my father used to be a LPP member. So before he could pass on, I asked him, what prompted you to follow, if I'm mistaken, Bago Matthew, right?
No.
And he gave me Bago Matthew party, I think LPP or somewhere PP. UPP, and he gave me a reason why he followed Bago Matthew. And when I look into it, I said, when the time reaches, I will find something suitable that will suit my generation, that will suit the kind of society that we have now, because we are in the 21st century and we have contemporary things going on now. So based on these policies and attributes of the political party I want to support, I'll be able to support them. Because we don't have a system, so those who follow the proper channel has corrupted the system and don't want us to go the way they came up. And not that they don't have that system in them, it's because they want to create that gap that we should always scratch our hand in making decisions before we get what we want to get. So they have poured in the basement that whenever we want to make a decision, we should look up to them because they have the funders, they have the connect, and what have you. They are not comparing that progress, that patriotic thing that they got before to us. So for that reason, they have created a scene wherein we should always look up to them. So for that reason, for many of our friends, like for some of us, we have the independent man. For me, I don't go along party level. And not too long, one of my friends criticizing me for criticizing Darrell Dedon because Darrell Dedon and myself for the same political party. I said, if you want to come up with a standard, you should live by that standard. Not because for a political party, then you want to deviate from what you question others about. And I'm clear with it. If you cannot set a standard and live by it, and I will not support you of that. Because we need a society that will live on a standard. People can say, I go to America, that place is good. It's because what they obtain from their forefather, they live by it. And that system in place. If I'm supposed to go to work 8 o'clock, I will be at work 7:30. Like most of the time when I move to go to town to go do 1 or 2, we're supposed to meet at 7:30. My colleagues will be dragging before 6:45. I'm to the car waiting for the job. In fact, because I built myself to that, and I want to live by that. I want to be respected of time, respected of people's view, and respect the system. If we do these things, in Liberia, you call it Bojimi, and it's kind of difficult to change our people, but gradually we'll change them because we have the tax to do so. And if we don't do that, if we don't do that, they become societal problem to us. And at the end, we'll be going to feel the pinches from these problems. So I'm questioning the young people that live according to your conscience. No matter the person can pay a school fee, the person can rent a room, the person can provide food for you. One is not good, that is not good for my thinking, it's not good for my feeling. Because anything happen now, it had a greater effect. Even like in one of my administration class, my lecturer told me that you can make a decision now, but you cannot escape the consequences. So we got to make the decision that will live by the consequences that will be better for us.
That is profound. Let me bring in our caller. That's the only caller for now. That's Desmond Feeling. After that, we'll have our last segment, which is I want to talk about the violent clashes that we see. We see young people throwing stones, they are fighting, they're vandalizing. What's responsible for that, and what's your own personal experience when it comes to young people engaging in political violence? But let me bring our caller on the line. That's Desmond Finlay. Desmond, you are live. Let's talk to the young people.
Thank you guys for having me today. I'm really proud to listen to the show today and hearing these young people speak.
Little volume, Desmond.
Giving their own. Okay, can you guys hear me better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say I'm glad to be on the call today and hear you guys speaking and giving their own disposition on what the thing Liberia is about. But ultimately, you're talking about systems. I see some people saying systems, some people saying individuals. They both are the same, right? They both are the same thing. People make up the system. People in the system is flawed. But I'll tell you guys the story. I was in Liberia in 2018, and I was in Buchanan. I was working at Metal. I was doing a contract there. And I went to the market to buy fufu. I'm buying fufu from the lady. She looked at my body, looked at my size, and said, "Oh, the fufu was $10." I paid for the fufu right before I could leave. The lady next to her, I said, "But Oma, and I fufu at $5." She said, "No, but for him, the fufu at $10." I paid and I left. Right? You know what that taught me? That taught me that even the market women in Liberia will steal from you. Mm-hmm. Not a minister and a minister official. The people in the market will steal from you. The older women, the grandmother will steal from you. So the problem here is it's systemic in the sense that everybody in the system is ingrained with the when I say everybody, I'm talking the majority, I'm not saying every individual. Everybody in the system is ingrained with the notion and the mentality to steal. So you bring them from outside, you bring them in, you make them a cadet, you start stealing. Ministers don't start stealing when they become ministers, they start stealing before they become ministers. And sometimes the reason why they steal is because the system depends on them to steal. Like the young person said earlier was that young people, depending on the grandpa, the grandpa, the other person, how you expecting to get that money? Where do you think it's coming from? That's your school fees, that's your hospital bills, that's your free education, that's your internet, that's where it's coming from. That's what's going through your pocket. So I will make this analogy and I'll stop. The reason why I'm in America when they're saying white cops are killing black people, I don't think that because the cops are killing black people or because they just don't like black people. But they go into that job and follow the system in that job. It's so systemic in that job that all black people are a threat. So now when they see the next black person, they forget. They just see all black people as threats because it's so everything they see in that system is pointing towards these people being this way. Mm-hmm. So the young lady that says she don't want to jump out there until she's 40, I agree with you. That's an individual choice. It makes a lot of sense. But for you to be a successful life, I told one young person like you're on tell everyone to hear this. I'd rather be at the table when the discussion is being held than be outside when the discussion is not being held. So whatever you can do to be on that table when that discussion is being held, you do it.
Thank you, Desmond.
Don't sit outside and let people decide your future. Whatever you can do to be on the table when that discussion is being held for your future, be there and do it. And that's my last thing. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Desmond.
Yeah, Mr. John.
Yeah.
Mr. John.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Before coming in.
Go ahead.
Yeah, during the COVID time, opportunity to share with my friend told me, oh my God, you are sharing there. Take 100 bag of rare alongside with cash in one of you. And you just share it like that without even taking, and you know what I told you, I think, if I'm giving you a tax to share this rest, no matter how I take in 100 bags, it will still feeding in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And can you imagine? I share that rest, the oil and everything, and went home and asked my mother to cook a rest and oil without even taking any of them from there. Because and she asked me, say, you bring anything home? I said, no, all was for the people. And she cooked what we had in the house. It's because I had a fear that was built in me from my baby Tana, what belong to you, take it. And after I got you sharing that food, I got what I'm supposed to get from the donor. So if we start to build a self-confidence, if we start to correct what is right, I can tell people what is right is different from what ought to be right. What is right is what is given to the people should be shared to the people. What ought to be right is that the people not looking so you can do anything. No, you
Thank
have
you.
a conscience.
Thank you, Alex. We got two more colors to pick, but let's go around the room quickly to talk about political clashes, the violence we see. One time I witnessed on Fender campus, the young people, they were in a rock throwing contest, throwing rocks. I saw one another ANC headquarters, the youth, violent clashes. We saw in Grand Judah the people that were involved in the throwing of stones, mainly youth. What's up with the youth and violence? And what has been your own experience? What is causing that, and what has been your own experience? Let me start with you, Bevina, and then we go to Vic June.
Well, my own experience with young people throwing stones and other things. So this is it. I've been through a lot for the past 6 months or maybe less. And then I noticed that young people just wake up one morning and then we start to do things without thinking about the aftermath, right? Most young people get themselves involved in choice toward violence because they want to prove a point or they want to defend somebody like, oh yes, this is my big brother, this is my big sister, this is my political leader, and so on. But I think violence is not the only way forward, and violence will never be the only way forward. When I was growing up, I wanted to go or I wanted to attend the University of Liberia. But then when I entered high school, I was like, every time I would hear people shouting or chanting battle cry, Mami water. I see people in khaki. All that thing, it brought fear to me. And then I told myself, no. I can't go to that school. What kind of school would people would there be fighting all day? People would there be throwing stones? People wearing military clothes to go fight, other things. So for me, I don't think violence is the only way forward because it causes trauma for most young people and even the people that you are doing it to. We do those things and then we feel fine with it. We feel happy. And, oh yes, I did this. I defended my big brother. I defended my political leader. I did what I had to do. But in doing so, let us think about what will happen after we have done those things, or let's consider other people's feeling, how they feel, or what they go through, and so on. So I don't think violence is the only way forward. I stand against violence.
Thank you. Vic June, what is causing the young people to be engaging in violence?
Dissatisfaction. And before I go on, I want to be very honest that it is not only in Liberia, it is everywhere. Like currently, we see what's happening with Bobby Wine in Uganda. So, I mean, it's just dissatisfaction. Like Bravina said, violence is not the only way. But when someone is agitated, somebody is aggrieved, they do things before they realize it is done. What I'm driving at is, in no way Liberians want to go back to their civil unrest years. That can be avoided if people who are responsible to hold our peace be very, very responsible enough. And I'm trying to restrict to that National Elections Commission. I'm reaching straight there because the Elections Commission stands as the heartbeat of our democracy, and anything that is irresponsibly done has the propensity to cause problem in our country, and we will not accept that because elections has to do with people feelings. Anytime you see people get so violent, especially with elections, it is because of dissatisfaction. So I will never tell any Liberian to go out there and cause problems because Liberia is the only country we have. Equally so, as I'm telling the Liberian young people to stay peaceful, I'm telling the authority responsible for our peace to please be responsible enough. We don't want any problem in this country. I have not seen war since I was born. I have not seen tragedy. I don't intend to see it. I hear stories of people who are ready, like in an older generation right now, who complain and tell us their story that they did not enjoy their youth. So these are some of the effects of the violence that come about, especially with elections and dissatisfaction and things. So equally so, as we're telling young people to stay peaceful, do not get in the street to cause problem, please let everybody to start to tell whoever is responsible to keep our peace, to keep our peace. We're not here to carry for video patching.
Thank you. And there's a comment here I want to read because it talked about violence. And Jackie Saya said the young people need encouragement. They need role models. When you live in violence, it becomes the only thing you know. I urge them to have discussion groups and study civil disobedience in other countries. Sometimes comparative study helps. Let me bring in our last caller for the night. Area code is 401-226-7150. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Prince Borkai calling from Long Island.
Prince, go ahead. You're live. Quickly.
Yeah, I just want to ask the young people that in still are online discussing about young people. You see, the situation in Liberia is saddening that the young people are not given the opportunity to showcase their talent, and they have been so much engulfed with politics that people no longer trust the young people. So I think the young people need to raise the bar. And when you look up on our early days way back in Africa, even in Liberia, don't wait before you be 50 years old before you work for your people. Most of the people that started African liberation, they were in their 30s, in their 20s. Look at Jerry Rowland. When he took over, he was 32 years old. The late Jerry Rowland. So the young people need to ask themselves what we want and ask our leader, because the civil war has great impact on us negatively. How many young people in that country are able to stand on their own? That even the smartphone they're using today, when you lost from them or somebody hijacked it from them, they're able to go in the store, they know to buy a new phone. No. So when you have all these situations on the young people's mind, then our politicians take advantage of them. That anything you do, I will call a young guy and get SYZ, will get you to keep quiet, you will not do something. And you don't have to be member of any political party before government or any politician or any representative or any government official help you. I think they need to erase that bond that, he's from the political party, I can't help you to showcase the talent. Because we came a long way. The war has plenty people in the so I get asking the young people, we should stand for who they are. That's why the constitution in Liberia is not favorable for them, but stand on your feet with integrity. One day, Liberia will get better because the young people, and those are the young people that even Father said today in government, they're not coming back. We have the young people, they're not giving back to the community, so all the challenges And everybody want to get there. How will they get there? Government have created an environment for them.
Thank you.
So let it be strong and be focused. One day we'll get on the best trajectory. I think Liberia will be fine. To Pato, to Bettina, to Junes, all the young guys, just be strong, be courageous. Better days ahead and good day will come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prince.
And let me go to you, and so that we can wind this up. Our time is fast spent. We kept you so long. So my last question to you is the way forward. What do we do? People listening to you across the world, what do you want them to know about young people in Liberia, and how can you help for Liberia to become better? What do you need, and what's the way forward for young people?
Come again. There's a call coming in from your end. I couldn't get it.
You make Vic June to get on you again.
No, she won't.
The last question is the way forward. What anybody listening to you now, what do you want them to know about young people in Liberia, and how can you help to make things better? What is it that you want from the government, from the older generation, from me, from us, and how to move forward? What are the next steps? What can we do to make it better for Liberia and for you as a young person? That will be we'll go around the room to conclude with that tonight.
Yeah, but I didn't have my share of the violence. But anyway, I'll conclude. Yes, why the problem to Nelly? I can start.
For 2 minutes, you can for 2 minutes you can put everything in there, Mr. Swain.
Okay, like the violence situation in Liberia it has to do with the side effect that we had after the war, and you know that we have a lot of ex-combatants emerging within the society. They were not refined properly. The process of getting that transformation was pocketed in some individual pocket. So you find out they have emerged into society. They are halfway, so they can do anything at any time for anything. So let me go to the way forward. The way forward for we the young people and the country as always, we need that platform where we can tell the world that we have a lot of brain, we have a lot of prospect within our environment, and we're asking the government to create that landscape, that playing field, to help foster our agenda whenever we have a thought, and to with the young people who ask that we become a brotherly keeper, like when we're in Samaria, say always be a brother keeper, because when Vic has an idea, Vic would like to share with 1 or 2% of her crowd before moving out. And you find out that many of our friends are not willing to do voluntary work now. All they speak of is money. So you find it difficult that we don't push one another. We only push people when we hear there is some political rally and we hear that there is some benefit somewhere. So like the other thing I want to share tonight, that those that are in the diaspora that are listening to us, there are a lot of young people out there that have obtained a lot of education. You can come back and share it. We have a one-way society that is focusing on politics. We don't have an industrialized country. We have low index when it comes to capital development. We have low index when it comes to capital and human capacity building. So we are asking you guys, if you have the finance, if you have the knowledge, Liberia is your home. No matter how scary it is, you cannot run away from Liberia. Come back. We are waiting to help. You can bring the idea. We can help in the process. You can bring the equipment. We can help in the process. Let's build this nation that we want to see in the not too distant future. It breaks my heart when I see other people showing some kind of innovation. It breaks my heart. It's not because they are gifted. It's because that platform was created and they went in a local room to think. Trust me, if they create a bucket today and I look at that bucket, I can create something additional to that bucket that Bevina can add up. That hard innovation grows a nation. So I'm calling on the national government, I'm calling on my colleagues. Let's work together. Let's make Liberia a better place. And to Vic, sorry if I anyway kept you for too long. I'm sorry, please.
Thank you.
No problem. Don't mind me. I was just trying
Let's
to be mischievous.
go. Your turn, Vic June.
Oh, so
Miss
my
Sylvia
turn
as
second,
always.
right?
Miss Sylvia as always.
Don't mind me. So I just want to close with this statement. Like, I think we all have the same mindset, and maybe we just express them differently. But I think I was misquoted. So let me just say this. I didn't say that young people in Liberia, like, quote unquote, they're all the same. I said it's just a handful of young people that will stand up and say, I'm independent, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. That's because they are in a capacity to do so. But majority, and it's in the reality we see today, majority of the people, you go to your uncle and uncle feeding you, and he tells you go to the one. On a more serious note, you will go and do it. So I think I was misquoted, and I wanted to just clarify that. But again, we cannot give up on our country, regardless of what's going on and what Vervina said that we should come together, like be united. She's not saying we should be sharing the same clothes. But if
No.
we know a cause is for the betterment of our country at a larger level, then we need to come together to say it. I said it earlier on, and I will repeat it. We still do not need Chief Justice Francis Kwok in that place. He needs to resign or get impeached. That's my final word, and I love the Liberian people. I just want us to be happy in these elections. I pray we don't do anything funny, but to uphold the sweet land of liberty at our hearts and be peaceful and peaceful and peaceful. So I love you. Alex, don't mind me. Just how you see me now, how I looking. No
I know.
strings attached, no bad feelings. Thank God you know me. You call me shaking tail, eh? So I was shaking your tail right now. Okay,
I know
so thanks
that.
for having me. I'm happy. I think anytime you have an invite, maybe I can adjust my schedule to that, like I did tonight. So let's keep going. Thank you, Mr. Ja, for all of the things you're doing. Keep going and please don't stop. Thank you. Good night. I love you.
Thank you, Vic June.
I can leave now, right?
Davina, your final thoughts on the last question, the way forward.
No, Vic, you got a waste from Vic.
Growing
Go ahead,
up in
Davina.
church ministry, there was this one song. The more we are together, the happier we will be. Because your friend will be my friend, and my friend will also be your friend. So let me just close by saying Liberia will be great if only young people are willing to do the rightful things to make Liberia great. This country cannot change anytime soon with the older generation. It is only the younger generation that can do something for this country, that can change this country, that can make an impact. So I want to encourage every one of us as young people, let's stay away from violence. Let's stay away from things that will hurt each and every one of us. We know people have their different views on politics and whatever issue. But let's not allow those things to divide us, to make us to see each other as enemy, or because I'm following this person, I will not talk to you. There are people who don't talk to us because they feel that their own political mandate, their own party mandate, or what. I don't even know. But those things will not move this country forward once we keep things in our heart, or once we keep buying other people enemies and making them our enemies. We are not going to move forward as a nation, as young people. So all I have to say is, young people, let's work together and make things right. Mr. Jar, thanks for the invitation. In part two, even though it was a late, very, very late invitation, but thank God I was able to. And then here I am today. So thank you. I'm here, always
You,
available.
you on don't leave. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for your time and for the discussion. I know this is just the beginning. We want to hear more and more from you, our young people. There's an image out there about you that we see, but I always know that there are good things happening in the country, even though we may not see them, and the bad one may be the one carrying the headlines. But I know you all are doing your best in a country with so much constraints and limited resources. Look at the issue we had another panelist who struggled to get on, but his connection was just poor. And so with all the constraints, you continue to do well. You continue to work hard. Keep it up. And as one of the callers said, it will be okay one day. Thank you so much for your time. Please look out for our invitation. We want you to be a part and parcel of the discussion we have here, because you are on the ground, you are putting in the time, and you are facing the challenges. We want to hear from you as often as possible. Thank you again for coming. And we want to thank all our viewers for participating, for being here with us. Thank you so much. And keep your dial set here at Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberian. We will not leave you until we play our song, which says, "We are all Liberian." You can be from the young people generation, the older people generation, or the older people generation. What matters is we are all Liberians, and we must all do our best to make our country that glorious land of liberty. On behalf of all of us here at Focus on Liberia, my name is Dennis Johnson. Thank you, good night, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We are Liberian. Liberia is our home.